Welcome back to Creating Dementia Solutions. I'm Richard Pyatt. Our Miles for Memories program comes to you by way of Access Vision, BattleCreekPodcast.com, the YouTube channel for Miles for Memories. Wherever you're finding us, we're sure glad you did. Miles for Memories is an organization that is focused on helping folks with movement, programming, and research who are living with dementia or perhaps caring for someone who has it. And we've been learning this year that caregiving comes in many different forms, and sometimes caregiving is not really thought of as caregiving in some respects. We're learning that. That's come out of many of our conversations in 2026, which are focused on the personal stories of dementia. Stacey Wines is with us today, CEO of CareWell Services. We knew them once as the Area Agency on Aging. Sometimes these names have been around for so long that
yes,
they stick around, don't they?
You are correct. That's why we should be answering the phone. CareWell Services, your local Area Agency on Aging.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The whole thing.
And thanks for the reminder, because I need to circle back around to that, because I haven't been hearing that second part.
Well, happy to help.
Yeah.
It's been a while, though, since
yes.
that name changed,
yeah,
hasn't it?
I think it was 16 or 17, when we did that name change.
Can you believe 16 was 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, it's unbelievable when my grandchildren say, "You were born in the 1900s?" That sounds way wrong.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to start about what my odometer number is this year. Whoa, okay. Well, let's talk just for a second about what CareWell Services does to remind folks.
Sure. CareWell Services, like we said in the title, is the local Area Agency on Aging. We serve seniors 60 or older. We serve adults with disabilities 18 or over, and we serve caregivers. And throughout all that, we have a number of different programs that go along with it, a lot of education, evidence-based programming for exercise classes. We have somebody on staff who unfortunately has walked the path very much as a caregiver role, and also having lost a few key people in her family very unexpectedly. So she teaches classes for those caregivers, especially more in the dementia realm, and then the compassion care classes. And then we have different programs that are like Medicaid eligible for caring, trying to keep people living as independently as possible in their homes. Basically, it's their choice.
Yeah. So a lot of paths here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And this resource is invaluable for folks who are trying to negotiate those paths.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, you've already started to show what some of the overlap might be between CareWell and Miles for Memories. How did that happen for you? How did this interaction happen?
Well, it's funny. It goes way back to when I was young. Before I was even elementary. I remember my mother inviting some older neighbors, and they were Ray and Thelma, and come up for pancakes to eat. And right there is where it started, because I saw the caregiving there, and then would check in on them quite often. And then it went to my Aunt Sue, a great aunt who moved in with us.
Oh, wow.
And so I saw it in that. My grandmother took care of, in her home, my great-grandmother. And so when I went and stayed there, once my grandmother Carrie got moved to a nursing home, then we would go there every day. So when I went to Grandma's house, we would go there every day, same thing day after day. And I thought, why is it the same thing? It's just a banana we're giving her. Why are we doing this? And it's funny, because you fast forward now, I understand how important routine was for Grandma. I didn't know that then, of course.
Yeah.
Then, as an adult, I was in the legal field, and I did mostly probate and estate planning as a paralegal. And with that, just you know, you have somebody come in for something for estate planning, they tend to just keep coming back, and you stay close because they're updating their, you know, trust documents and everything. And that led into guardianships and all those things that really centered around seniors. So I've always been drawn to that. And then when I was working as a grants manager, I was working with senior funding. And then I landed where I am now. And I mean, it's so funny looking back. Everybody says that. You don't know it at the time, but I was going through all that to be where I am now.
Yeah, it prepares you for where you end up.
Yeah, and now I'm putting that to use personally. My husband has dementia, and my father is in the end stages of vascular dementia right now. So, yeah.
So when you were a young girl going to take Grandma the banana, did that feel like caregiving to you?
No, but it felt, I remember even at that young age thinking how much my grandmother had compassion for her mother. And when we'd walk through the halls, you know, I was a little girl and, you know, they didn't see a lot of people, let alone little kids. So my grandma I felt like I was the token child, you know, like I had to, you know, do all this, and these people, if they had candy or whatever, you know, or they want me to see a stuffed animal or something. So I got a sense from that. It really wasn't until my mom had Aunt Sue come live with us, and I realized, okay, because she worked full-time, single parent, 3 kids, there's something different about her, you know, and it was definitely the compassion that she showed in caregiving.
Were you aware that this was awakening a path for you career-wise? I mean, maybe not then, but maybe later? That impressed you clearly.
Yeah, actually, when I went to get my associate's degree, which is all I needed, I was going to be a dental hygienist. And the doctor said, nope, not with your back and neck problems. Nope, can't do that. So, yeah, so then I decided to become a paralegal. I just fell into the area of law I was in. The times when I dabbled into something else I did not like domestic or criminal. So I would say no, it really, but I was always drawn to helping the older population. Like even if we went somewhere and you could see somebody standing, I would stand up. My father taught me that. You let them have the seat. You know, if they drop something, you pick it up. That was instilled in me.
Sure.
And something very, very strange, and this is personal, going very deep. In about 5th grade, for some reason, I started feeling sorry for older people. I mean, so bad that I was such an empath that I would like cry. Like if I saw them thinking something's going to happen to them, where's their family? They're all alone. You know, I mean, I just remember that clearly. Wow. And that lasted with me for about a year. It was a really hard time for me. Looking back, there were some changes where, you know, Mom had to start working a different shift and all that played into it. But, you know, it was just strange. And I don't know how it all fit in, but it did, because I knew I could be a catalyst somehow in trying to make their lives easier.
That was the point.
I think so.
This was happening in your, I don't know, psyche, I guess, preparing you.
I remember standing at Kentucky Fried Chicken in Urbandale, if you remember when that was there, along with Sullivan's. Yeah, because my grandparents lived right down the road. And I remember standing there, it's so vivid, and waiting in line. And there was an older couple, and they were probably happy as can be looking back now. But I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's nobody here to take care of them. There's nobody here to help them. And you know, actually, they were independent enough to get out and go to Kentucky Fried Chicken, and they had enough money to go to Kentucky Fried Chicken. But in my mind, they needed saving somehow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this pendulum swung back, and you ended up in this really caregiving role.
Yeah.
So you're overseeing the day-to-day operations of an organization, but that's still caregiving when you really boil it down, isn't it?
Yes, and my good friend pointed out that it's also caregiving in that I've raised my grandchildren, I have a family member with some serious behavioral issues. And so I'm just a caregiver all the way around. It's just my nature.
Talk to someone else for a second who is caregiving. You have illustrated your professional path when we've just said it's caregiving, but you've illustrated at least 2 situations in which you're a caregiver personally now. What do you say to folks who are in that position? You have a particular purview on this because I think you can take a moment and think about these things professionally at the same time while you're carrying it out personally. What do you say to folks who say, yeah, I'm doing something similar?
It's taken me a long time to get to this point. I mean, we're talking a long time. Mm-hmm. I would say make sure you take time for yourself, whether that is depending on what stage you're in. But if you're able to get away and just drive to the store, blast your favorite music, sing out loud. If it's reading, find time to escape to read. If you're like, honey, I'm going to go use the restroom, take a book with you, shut that door, do whatever you have to do. Even if you're not using the facilities, you're just going in there to get a break. You know, there's so many different things you can do for yourself, and I was horrible at that, and it wasn't until last year that I stepped up and was like, okay, it's time to get to the doctor, because you're no good to anybody if you're not taking care of yourself. And it's great to, as crazy as this sounds, because caregiving, you're already so busy you don't have time, you have got to volunteer, give back, because it feeds the soul. And if that means, like, I take my husband with me to places, like, I mean, I think he has more dementia Miles from Memory shirts than what Sherry Shervin has. He has so many shirts because he just he wears them. He'll talk to people. You know, I don't think he always gets it right, but he talks to people about it. You know, so that not only fills my cup, but it fills his cup too. So. And then don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's a journey. You're both on a journey. You're not going to get it right all the time.
Mm-hmm. You know, you said something interesting about taking care of oneself, take the break, go drive around the block with the radio on if you can do it. That's difficult for some people, isn't
Yes, it is.
They feel a tremendous responsibility.
Yes. And unfortunately, some people cannot do that. My husband isn't so far along that I can't do that. Mm-hmm. So even though he did comment on some beautiful flowers on our deck yesterday, and he goes, these are just gorgeous, and he does the watering. And I said, which ones are you talking about? He goes, those ones. And I'm like, there wasn't any over there. And I'm like, are you talking about the red, white, and blue ones? He goes, yeah. I said, honey, those are fake. So he's been watering the fake plants. So we had a really good laugh about that, you know. But some people don't have that luxury of doing that, and I'm aware of that. So what I would encourage, like, you know, you get into their stories. You don't try to change their stories. It is what it is. That causes frustration on their part, causes frustration on your part. And I witnessed that yesterday with my father and my stepmom. And, you know, it's just really a matter of if you need to take them along, take them along. And if they like 60s music, 50s music, rock and roll, play it. Even if it doesn't fill your soul, you're getting away. And I guarantee you, your care recipient, if they're in a better mood, even if it's just a brief time, it's gonna boost your mood too.
Yeah. It just takes some convincing sometimes.
And creative, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and for those who don't, you know, check out your local organizations who can provide some respite care. Because family, for some reason, we found this with my husband, not so much family, but friends he once had, we don't see him anymore. They don't know how, you know, they hear dementia and they're like, oh, wow.
They're
got to stay away.
A little concerned about how to handle that themselves.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you've given us some things to think about, and I would just punctuate all of that by saying, obviously, there's back and forth between Carewell and Miles for Memories because You probably meet folks who could avail themselves of services that Miles for
Absolutely.
Memories has. Maybe the reverse.
Absolutely. Yeah, and in Battle Creek, we have a lot of excellent aging programs, services that different agencies provide, and we may not be the one thing that fits everybody's needs, but what's good is we're all connected. So if I'm like, you know what, you may be better suited if you go to this organization or something like that. So I don't want to say that Carewell Service is the only one in the area, but what's unique about us is we are funded by the Older Americans Act through the federal government, and we are charged to be the senior focal point in the county. So we actually represent Calhoun and Berry County. And then we have our My Choice Waiver program that goes to 8 counties all the way over to the Lake Shore.
Yeah, big territory.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for all you do, and thanks for sharing this story.
Absolutely.
I should say that I come into these conversations not having had a lot of pre-talk, so I don't quite know what the person is going to say about their own personal stories, but I walk away with a remarkable feeling after having heard these, and this is another one.
Well, thank you so much.
Stacey Wines, Carewell Services Southwest. We'll link them in the show notes for this episode, as well as Miles for Memories, so you can click through and get more info. We'll be back soon with more Creating Dementia Solutions. Take care.